You're at 10 minutes for your timekeeping.
All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to our first Women's Domestic Violence Offender Group. My name is Savannah. I have my Bachelor of Social Work from King University, and I've been working with groups for about 5 years now. I have a real passion for this population, and so I'm really excited to get to know you all and move forward from there. My function in this group for you all, because there is going to be myself and Miss Brittany with us, I'm going to kind of be the one that just provides a little bit of extra structure. If you have any questions about logistics, I'm definitely your girl. If you need a little extra help or support or something you feel like you don't want to share with the group, Brittany's going to be your go-to. And we're both happy and open to supporting you. But I'm going to turn it over to her so that she can introduce herself a little bit.
Hi, my name is Brittany. I am also a social worker. I graduated from King University. My goal or role within the group is to ensure that everybody here feels comfortable sharing their thoughts and feelings, and that if you have any concerns that you can come to me with those.
All right, and so just to get started, I'm going to start again just with the logistics because we are in our first group. So this is going to be our first group in a series of 12 psychoeducational groups on domestic violence offenders. We're going to be held every evening for the next 12 weeks from 7 to 8. And it is going to be via Teams. So all of those links are going to be in your email that you have provided. I have sent each of you a copy of the weekly meeting schedule and the agenda for this evening. There is a third attachment that is our psychoeducational document for the evening, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Since this is an hour-long group, we are going to take a break in the middle. We'll take about 5 minutes at our 30-minute mark. Everybody feel free to get up, stretch your legs, go get a drink of water, use the restroom. But please wait until that time so that we don't have any disruptions. And we will end at 8 p.m. promptly so that you can get home and do your sort of thing. Next, I am going to let you know, myself and Miss Brittany are social workers, so we do have a duty to warn. While this group will remain confidential, nothing will be shared outside of it. If we are concerned that you are a danger to yourself or others, we do have to report that. So please be aware of that going into this, because that will not change throughout. So Miss Brittany has a chalkboard that is actually titled Rules. Right now, there's only 2 items on it, and that is confidentiality and attendance. This is a non-voluntary group. Each of you are here based on a court mandate. So attendance is mandated and confidentiality is just part of the gig. After that, I'm really going to leave it up to you ladies. I know each of you have been in some sort of structured classroom. I know you want your voices heard, and this is a place where we intend to hear them. So please feel free. And what sorts of rules would you like your time to be structured by over the next 12 weeks? Because it will be a fair amount of time we spend together. The floor is yours.
I have something to say.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Tanisha.
I know that, you just said that it was court mandated for us to be here, but I didn't do anything.
Okay.
I truly didn't do anything. So I'm kind of not here by choice.
Well, in fact, everybody's not here by choice, so that's okay. And many people feel this way. We are going to discuss that further. I would love to hear your story. And thank you for sharing that you don't really want to be here. That's completely valid. So don't worry about it. You're not the first one, and you certainly won't be the last. But do you have any suggestions for rules that would make you feel more comfortable in this setting?
No.
Okay. Anything for you, Miss Vanessa?
I mean, we have to be here, so I mean, it don't really matter. I'm just gonna come here and do what I need to do, get done with it.
All right. Nobody cares if anybody talks over anyone, nothing like that?
Yes, I do care if someone talks over someone because I may punch them in the eye.
All right. Well, we are going to try and remedy that before we get started. So, Ms. Brittany, if you don't care to write number 3 on the board and saying one person at a time, that's going to really help us. And help Miss Denisha, because she doesn't need that. All right. Abigail, or Abby, I don't know which one you prefer. Do you have any suggestions for our group or things that would make you feel comfortable?
Respect.
Respect. All right. I think that's a great one. That's a broad one, and I love it because we all have our interpretation of it, and we can also all advocate for ourselves on that. But we are going to lead with respect. The golden rule, treat others how we want to be treated. So that is fantastic. And Miss Bethany, anything you would like to add to that?
I'm going to need more than 5 minutes to go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, and stretch. Like, if we could have 7, maybe 10.
Okay. Okay. Well, if we're at that point and you need to do every single one of those things, we can discuss it then. So, but I thank you for pointing that out, that to get all of that done would be a marathon, I'm sure. So, all right. So I think those are some great rules to start out with. We can add to that always. We will have this whiteboard available. And if anybody feels like something's stepping on their toes, let's talk about it. Let's get it up there and deal with it like that. Instead of there being confrontation amongst us, let's just eradicate it from the get-go. All right. So moving on, again, this is court mandated. So we're going to spend a fair amount of time together, but since I've gotten all the logistics done, we're just going to do a short little like icebreaker, get to know each other. Y'all know about confidentiality now. Please do not be sharing each other's information. And now we get to actually interact amongst ourselves. So Brittany, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Thank you. Okay, so first of all, I would like for everyone to just share a fun or interesting fact about themselves. And if you could just give your name, your age, your state, where you're from, and then just one thing that you would like to get out of this group, that would be helpful as well.
I'm Bethany. I'm 34. I'm from the state of Tennessee. I was born and raised here. And one thing I'd like to get out of this group is I'd like it to be done. I'd like to be over with my commitment. And then let's see. Something interesting about myself, I am 7 months pregnant, hence the request of more bathroom breaks.
All right. Thank you, Miss Bethany. That's wonderful. We will keep that in mind for bathroom breaks too.
I'm trying not to laugh, but y'all are actually kind of funny. So, I'm Denisha. I'm 22 years old, and I'm here because I was made to be here, but I guess it may be all right because y'all are actually kind of funny. And a fun fact about me, what else did you ask?
Oh, just a fun or interesting fact about yourself.
Oh, yeah. Okay. A fun and interesting fact about myself. I don't know. You probably wouldn't know that I did ballet growing up.
Okay.
That's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know.
That's awesome. I wish I were that coordinated. So get to know some of us have some coordination.
Yeah, I do. And I got hands too.
Oh, there she got it. All right. And the next person.
I'm Vanessa. I'm 35. I'm from Tennessee. There's not really anything interesting about me. What I want to get out of this group is not being seen as an abuser because I'm not an abuser.
Yeah.
I'm Abby.
Thank you for sharing that.
I'm Abby. I am 23. I was born in Scotland, and a hobby. I like to walk, and yep. Oh, I don't want to be here as well, but I am here, so.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like most of you don't want to be here, but we are made to be here, so we're going to make the best out of it. So I feel like one of our most common goals would be just to find ways to communicate in like a non-abusive, non-violent way. maybe to find the triggers that start those and try to help prevent like future domestic violent incidents. Is there anything that y'all would like to add as a group goal or individual goal?
Maybe learning to accept this group.
Okay.
And we may not be guilty of what we're accused of doing, except that we have to do it.
Okay.
Not making the same mistakes again.
Yeah.
Not just like why I'm here, but like the things that led up to why I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's really hard for me to trust. And so just trying to trust that you all, Miss Savannah, Miss Brittany, are, here for the right reasons and that you'll actually help each of us. And like Vanessa said, just even though we really don't want to be here, we're here. Let's make the most of it. And like Bethany said, just not continuing to think that using my fists is the answer for everything. So, yeah.
That's great.
That is a good.
And again, if any of you all want to discuss any of those goals or want to just talk about your situations further, feel free. If you don't feel comfortable within the group, come to Brittany or I, and we will be happy to spend some time with you and just go over those things. We know those trigger a lot of emotions and can be hard to share amongst members. So tonight we just have a short lesson or a discussion more so. And it's just so that we can keep to our scheduled 8 p.m. time because we had all of those logistics we had to go over at the beginning of this meeting where it's our first one together. So we do have a handout for you. It is the psychoeducational handout that I have shared. Let's see, Brittany, are you able to pull up the psychoeducational handout? Possibly screen share it for us. In the interim, I am going to just kind of get us started. It's very simple tonight. We are focused on 3 questions and 3 questions only. The first being, what is domestic violence? Because that's what brings us all here. We don't want to be here, but we're here because of it. Some of us feel like we've done it, some of us don't. So what is domestic violence? What constitutes it? So what's a definition? What's an example? And then what are common stressors? What are things that we see typically before an episode or things that can just kind of push somebody to an extent where if you have a tendency to lash out, it can kind of bring you there. So we're going to start out with what is domestic violence. And we're kind of looking for a definition on this one. Does anybody have any ideas of what domestic violence is?
When you beat up your spouse.
There you go. That's a straightforward example. Are there any other ways that we have domestic violence or anything else that goes along with it? What makes it domestic?
Is it that it's in the household?
Yeah, in the household. That's usually where we see it, right? Behind closed doors. Is there any other way that it would be considered domestic violence and not in the home? So funny enough, it sounds counterintuitive, but you can have domestic violence as long if it's with somebody that you live with or are an intimate partner with. It does not have to be within the 4 walls of your house. If it is with people that you live together with or you have an intimate relationship, if it's in the car, if it's in the Kmart parking lot, wherever it may be, that is domestic violence. So let's go, and now that we kind of have a better idea of what this is, let's give some examples, because that's really where we know the boundaries of something. What are examples of domestic violence? Let's start with physical examples. What are examples of physical domestic violence? Any ideas? Touching? Yeah. Punching, sorry.
It's okay.
Anyone else?
Kicking,
Kicking? Yeah.
stabbing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
Just being
okay.
honest. That's why I'm here.
We gotta stay away from her hands and her knives.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So any other examples of physical? Would shoving maybe be a part of that? Come on, we're girls. What about slapping? Do we do that? Mm-hmm. There's some examples of that. All right. Another thing. What about pulling hair? Would that be considered anything like that? What do y'all think?
Yes.
Somebody, yeah, that's violent. Somebody pulls your hair, that's violent.
Oh yeah, that's a fight.
Mm-hmm. So what about emotional or psychological things that feel violent or make you not feel safe at home or within relationships? What are examples of that? Because that would also be domestic violence. What things do you think would make that?
Screaming and cussing.
Yeah. Verbal abuse. Absolutely. Bethany, you're kind of quiet. You have anything? Any thoughts?
I don't know. I'm struggling with violence versus defending yourself.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, it can definitely. So often what we call that is mutual violence. It's not one-sided. It's still domestic. We still have to get out, safety for you and safety for the other person is absolutely paramount. So if you feel that you are unsafe, if you feel that you are truly defending yourself, please come talk to one of us. We are happy to get you, connected to resources if you need to get out. And that is 100% a function and something we can help get you plugged into. So please feel free to come and speak with us. Any other thoughts? Anybody? All right.
So you can be defending yourself and then still be called an offender?
Yeah, I mean, if you're actively engaging back into that violence, it can escalate to that level. So usually we want to try and get away. I understand that that is not always an option, and that is where we want to help you get out so that you are not in those positions ever. But certainly we do not want you to have to defend yourself to the extent that you look like an aggressor, because that is not the position anybody wants to be in for themselves or see somebody else in. So next, Brittany's actually going to finish us up here, just discussing some common stressors that can lead to us acting out aggressively or having those moments where we kind of lose control. So.
Okay, so the three most common stressors of domestic violence is financial stress. Obviously, if you're financially struggling, that's stressful, and it could lead to a fight or an altercation that leads to domestic violence. History of childhood abuse, or you've seen it in your childhood if your parents fought a lot. It's kind of hard not to lash out when you see those signs coming up, and it's hard to find ways to communicate with others without fighting, if that's what you've grown up seeing. Relationship problems, especially intimate ones. Most of y'all have concerns. You feel like maybe it's not your fault. Maybe they came on you first, and I think it's important for everybody to realize that sometimes you have to realize that.
Brittany, we're going to pause you for just 1 second. Somebody has something going on in the background. If we can mute that, please. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So, so domestic violence with intimate relationships. If you're arguing, sometimes it's hard not to throw fists, shove each other, whatever, you may feel comfortable doing. It's important to find ways to, even if they come on to you, to realize that this could lead to a dangerous situation, and to help you find ways to leave that situation without it becoming violent. I know that's hard. Sometimes people get in your face and you're like, okay, I'm going to punch you. So we need to find ways to realize when that's happening, stop it, and then to walk away to protect ourselves and possibly the other person. So those are the three main stressors of domestic violence. And as we come to an end, Vanessa and I would like to ask for feedback for our evaluation. If you have any suggestions for later groups, ideas for more that we could talk about, or things that we can improve on, strengths that we've discussed, something that you want to add on to or keep going with, or some things that you'd like, let's talk about this and just kind of, move on to something else.
Now,
Go ahead.
I'd like to talk about resources for like getting back on one's feet. Like when you've been in a justice related situation, it's hard to get things back in order and get your life back together. I'd like to talk through like how to get things to just get past all this.
Okay. So from a judicial standpoint, you would like more information?
More of a like after all of that, like having something on your record. It's hard, like getting a job and getting back and not slipping into the same abusive relationships.
Okay. So absolutely. Again, our groups are psychoeducational. We've got 12. We've got a couple that I know will cover some of those questions that you may have. But I have written down what you've said, and I will make sure that anything that's not explicitly covered, we add that in so that information is provided and available to you. Anybody else?
Thank you, Miss Brittany. Thank you, Miss Savannah. We appreciate y'all so much.
Okay, well, thank you all. We appreciate you all showing up. I know this first one's always the hardest when we don't want to be here, but me and Miss Brittany do appreciate you all and your time. So we will be meeting again next Tuesday, same time, 7 to 8 p.m. Please come prepared, and we'll hopefully have some more laughs and explore some of our mutual issues and problems together, and we'll get some information that we can move on and go home with.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you all.
See y'all next class.
See you.